What is it that has a remote that I push? The camera. That's why I was like, remote.
Oh!
Because when I usually do the camera, I
forgot about that.
Yeah.
I've never used the remote.
Yeah.
Usually because I'd be like... Okay. It's been a long time. Previously on Dorys and Kassandra.
Yes, that's day 9.
Oh, what day is it?
Day 9?
Turn it off!
I grew up with that one.
I probably did.
You did, I remember.
Okay, yeah, so this was when we went to meet Tarka, and
Yes.
we did the flamingo, and then the next day was vet day, and we had all the not pregnant bunnies, but the in heat bunnies.
Yeah, I said that one was tough.
And then that's when
considering the one bunny was getting like gangbanged by like 4 other bunnies.
that was tough. Homegirl was bleeding on my arm when I picked her up and rescued her.
Dude, she was getting
it was just
railed.
bad blood on me.
It was horrifying.
Homie.
And then there's Jake just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's like, well, she is open. And then that's why we have the picture of us going like this. Because he was like, she is open. And I was like, okay.
But yeah, it's like we're all sitting in there, and like I exited the clinic to cough like really, really hard. Because at that point I was like sick, but I was told it was the traveler's cold, as I'm sure I've mentioned before when I started coughing originally.
I don't think there's like any footage of you coughing except in the last video. I remember there was footage of you coughing. I was like, never did she.
I left the clinic during vet day to hack up a storm outside, which I saw a spider out there, which I took a picture of.
Nice.
So I got scared because I was like hacking on it, and then all of a sudden it was like right there in my face. And I said, boop. And then I came back in, and then all of a sudden everybody was putting masks on.
Yeah.
And I was like freaking out. I was like, uh-oh. And then they're like, hey, put this mask on.
But it's like, because somebody got really, really sick.
Someone got really sick.
Katie. And she was like dead.
She was like
dead.
Like it wasn't just normal COVID. It was like
dead.
Dead. Like I felt bad.
She threw up like 8 times that day.
It was so bad. It was so bad. So like we put a mask on, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, we're done with our bunnies, and they say, okay, like calmly head back to the house, like Kara's waiting for you, like blah, blah, blah.
What's about to happen?
We're like,
I thought it was a surprise.
I was hoping it was a surprise. We did get a surprise COVID testing. And so we're sitting there, and you know, I took mine and she took hers. Hers came out negative. Mine came out positive within like 3 seconds. And so I was like, well, maybe like that one was just like weird. So I took one again just to like guarantee, and it still came back positive. Took a little bit longer that time though, which means I got some of the coof out first.
Right. Because that's totally how it works.
It is. And then, so we got separated.
Ripped apart.
I had to go into the isolated area while we waited to see where we were gonna go. While everyone else, we had to like move around beds, we had to move around like rooms and everything, move everybody everywhere, so that the 12 of the 30 of us could go live in the orphanage and die of COVID together. Which was actually kind of nice. I made some friends in there. It wasn't as like depressing as I thought it would be, but at the same time it was just sad. But while I was in the darkness withering away, what were you doing?
Oh man. Well, they told us that since we were positive and everything was all good, that we still had, you think positive would be positive,
a good thing.
And but whatever. Since we were clean, we still had to do everything that was like on schedule to do, and we basically had to pick up all of the slack in the work from all the ones that were gone. So that made things a little more challenging, but it was also fun. Like, we got to do, I had 3 near-death experiences due to lack of staff.
Lack of staff.
And lack of intelligence. What is that called? What did they call it? Big Cats Day. So we had Big Cats Day. The 4 of us were kind of like the troopers of our group. So we went and we cleaned up the lions area. The lions were sealed away. But we cleaned up their area. I stole some things, and they did successfully make it across the border.
They did.
I stole bones and fur. Joke's on you, U.S. Customs.
Don't come get us.
And then Friday came about. Was it Friday? Yeah, because that was Thursday was Big Cats Day, and then Friday
Enrichment project.
We did our enrichment projects. So we had to present those, and ours actually turned out really well. I'll put a video of our snakes liking their little thingies we had set up for them.
Their mush and nushes textured bushes.
Yeah.
She's posing. She's like, yeah, I got on it. She's like, no, go away.
Keep going, Mama. All the way down. There's so much more. Hope you turn around and go back.
And then Danny actually had to do hers like all by herself, which really sucked, but she got it done. It was actually one of the best ones. We got to do tug of war with the lions, which was really freaking cool. Then it was kind of just like help out around the zoo, like help do whatever needed to be done, because there wasn't really any point in keeping groups and everything. There was only like, after everybody who decided to leave, everybody got the option of if they wanted to leave and go home early, or if they wanted
they were negative.
If they were negative, if they wanted to go home early, or if they wanted to stay. And so those that did go home early after that, there was only like 7 of us left. So there was no point in having groups or anything. So we kind of all just hung out around the zoo, played, what was that game called? Unstable Unicorns. If you haven't played that game is legit awesome. So freaking play that game. Shout out to my unicorn group. Love you guys.
And I ended up being in quarantine with like half of the unicorn group.
Yeah.
The OG unicorn group.
Yeah, the remainder of the unicorn people, you know who you are.
Yeah.
On Big Cats Day, we also cleaned out the tiger enclosure. And the tigers were locked away. But I did not anticipate, as I'm sweeping and raking leaves, Paulina turns and asks me a question about the remainder of the schedule. And so I pause what I'm doing, pull out my phone to look at the schedule, and out of nowhere, right in the corner, I didn't realize I was right in front of the gate where the tiger was residing. I just felt like breath on my neck, and I turned around and it's just tiger face right here. And I literally had a heart attack. I jumped so far in the air, like freaking cartoon level jumped. And yeah, it was terrifying. She popped out of nowhere. That was Kimberly. Thanks, Kimberly, for that.
We love you, Kimberly.
We went into where they were staying, like where they were locked away. Still like gated off and everything. But we went in, the guy, his name's Sylvester. He was the keeper. He was telling us about, Aaron and Kimberly, the 2 tigers. And as he's discussing this, I'm once again just terribly positioned, standing next to where the tiger is going to approach. And as I'm standing there, out of nowhere, the tiger just like launches himself at the gate and attempts to get me, and growls and claws and was ready. And I again jumped out of the way. And I can insert that video too of the tiger doing it again, but this time at Sylvester because he stood where I stood, so I didn't have to keep getting attacked.
And then if they don't clean, which means they didn't manage to close this one. Not closed. I leave it until next time.
So yeah, 2 heart attacks in the span of like an hour. And then my 3rd heart attack came later that afternoon. We were letting out all of the big cats with Amos. And Amos is a very chill guy. And he was allowing Morgan to handle the keys for the day. And let's just say Morgan kept unlocking the wrong gates, which I was standing in front of. So if Amos had let it get as far as, I don't know when he was planning on saying something, but he just kept asking her, do you want to die? Yeah, so.
So meanwhile, I'm still sitting alone in the orphanage making friendship bracelets. And so I made like a couple of them, and which yours got stolen, didn't it?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Sorry for another.
It's okay, we still have one. And luckily we were able, all the COVID positive people were able to be sent home like on the same day as everybody else, because there was a point in time where we were all like kind of worried that we were going to be forced to stay for like another week until we were like negative. But we talked to a doctor and he wrote us notes because we were all like, instead of but no, we were all sitting there just like, nobody cough. We're like, nobody cough, or you're making all of us stay here. But no, we all went home and sat on the 16-hour flight back.
Oh my gosh, that flight was worse than the one down.
Dude.
So I had this guy, freaking weirdo, sitting next to me on this flight.
And I felt bad because I made her switch with me, because originally I was supposed to be in the middle, and I was like, I don't want to sit next to this guy.
Yeah, so I'm like sitting next to this guy, and he keeps just like moving his leg like over into my space. And so then I'm like scooching over into hers because I'm like, I don't want to touch him.
And meanwhile, my legs are in the aisle.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, as he's just inching closer. And then he kept watching like weird, like,
he was watching
porn like movies on his like screen. And then she went to the bathroom and left me alone with this man. Weird man. If you're watching this, I don't like you.
But we made it back. We were in the Newark airport for it was a few hours.
Yeah, we got to have some breakfast.
Yeah, we got to have some breakfast, which was actually pretty tasty, even though it was hella expensive.
Yeah, ridiculous.
But airport food. Yeah. Was that where we saw Joe Biden?
Or no, was it Bernie Sanders? It was Bernie Sanders, not Joe Biden. Because then he tried to get our stuff reported.
Yeah. Because we left it like
we didn't even leave it. We were sitting at a restaurant in front of our gate. Like, yeah. It was just a little table right in front of our gate, and I could clearly see our stuff.
Yeah.
And you know how people get about unattended luggage and everything. He was like reporting our stuff, and then the people came over and they were like, you can't leave your stuff there. I was like, well, I'm not just gonna like pile it here. So yeah.
That was pretty much all that happened though.
Yeah.
It was really sad.
It was very sad to leave, but I'll be going back. I have every intention of going back at some point.
I'd like to go back at some point too, but moral of the story, we were separated.
We were on a break.
We were on a break. We were on a break.
Okay.
We were on a break.
Depart. That's it. You gotta do our shameless self-promo. Go ahead.
What am I supposed to say? Follow, like, subscribe.
I loved that. What am I supposed to say? Follow, like, subscribe.
Yeah, on all accounts.
Yeah.
All of them in the description.
We're almost at 100 subscribers.
Yeah. Come on. Y'all can do it. I know half of you guys watch it, you just don't subscribe.
Which
so
is
just
really
do
unnecessary.
That. Yeah.
The stats are just like 50-50.
Yeah.
Like now they're like 30% are subscribed, like 70 are not. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
it's like you guys watch, and I know you watch, and you come and tell me you watch, and then I ask you, do you subscribe? And you say no, and then I be sad. You don't want to see me sad.
this is what we look like when we're sad. Oh, Tay.
That was kind of cool. I don't know how I made that work, but it looked like I opened my eye, but I never touched my eye.
I didn't see it the first time you did it. I was like, what the fuck did you just do?
I don't know, but it was really cool.
Or else you're a big dumb stupid head.
Yeah.
Don't be
Don't do
stupid. Stupid is bad. Don't be like Bob. Bob
Ignorance
is stupid.
can be fixed, but stupidity is forever. Follow me on Twitter, guys. Follow our Twitter. It's actually
I say she does all the tweets on there, so don't
Yeah.
come at me when you see someone saying that you're just a sack of meat and blood
But you
driving a
are.
car.
Yeah. Imagine that. You're literally just a sack of meat and blood and like bones, but you can drive a car. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
See, that's why you need a remote.
Yeah, you do need a remote. Why can't you just be like, hey Siri, stop? Can you do that?
Probably, but I don't have Siri turned on.
Oh, see, neither do I, because
she's
she's annoying. It's like I hate her.
Yeah.
She just be...
There's nothing to stop you from changing devices on your Wi-Fi network.
I have you shut up! What the fuck is wrong with you? My eyes! I'm crying! I was like, who the fuck is that? I was like, are the demons talking